In the early 1960s, when Fort Smith High separated into two schools, Fort Smith Northside and Fort Smith Southside, it kicked off not only one of the greatest rivalries in Arkansas, but in the nation as well.
At the time, we were the only city in Arkansas that had two high schools that competed just against each other. And that was in 1963 when I moved to Fort Smith. It was just a great rivalry from the very beginning, a natural rivalry. We have Rogers Avenue that kind of runs down the middle of Fort Smith, and the newspaper people would refer to it as the Battle of Rogers Avenue.
It is very neat. I think back, say 10 or 15 years ago, the Sporting News went out and did a survey on what the biggest rivals were in each state, and came out, most people thought Arkansas and Texas, or different, UCA, Arkansas Tech, or Henderson State, Ouachita Baptist, but it came out it was Fort Smith Southside versus Fort Smith Northside, and it's a great rival. It's a great thing to be a part of. I've got to experience it for the last 15 or 16 years, and
the longest running in the state.
Yeah, been here for 16 years, and it's the longest reign anybody else in the state of Arkansas. And Southside's a great place, but this game it's so much fun for our community. It's so much fun for each student bodies, and it doesn't matter what your record is. We played in this deal where one team didn't have a great record, and the other team was having a good year, or both teams weren't having a good year, or both teams were having a great year. It doesn't matter. You can throw it all out the window, and it's just a lot of fun.
This rivalry is so intense that it made the NFL's Great American Rivalry Series, first in 2010 when Southside won, and then again in 2016 when Northside was the champ.
So, Coach Mike, I understand you actually played in several of these rivalry games here.
Yes, I did. I was a 1980 graduate of Northside High School, and was fortunate enough to get to play in three of them, and won two. And I think the very first one my sophomore year was the first time Northside had ever lost to Southside.
Tell us about this Great American Rivalry here, and I mean, it's really something to have two schools like this since 1963.
Yeah, it's changed over the years. When I was in school and before me, and even after, it was one of those things where you were split literally down the Rogers Avenue, and guys went to school on that side of town, and you went to school on this side of town. You didn't have a lot to do with each other, and this game was huge.
Really, they didn't associate with each other?
No, I went to grade school at Ballman, and half those kids went to the south side of town when they went to junior high, and the other half went to the north side, to Darby. And I had some really good friends who I was not really good friends with anymore after we went to junior high school. So it was a very, very intense, still is, game that two sides of town competing for the trophy.
The Northside Grizzlies have won the annual Battle of Rogers Avenue the past 3 years, so this year the Southside Mavericks were definitely out for revenge. In the end, though, it wasn't meant to be again for the Southside Mavericks, losing to Northside 35-12.